Let's take a look at a simple algorithm approach, and let's use the toy example from before as our running example. Let's start off by initializing the flow to 0 everywhere. So we'll illustrate the current flow in this example. Then let's take a look at the available capacities along every edge. Since the flow is 0 everywhere, the available capacities will be the same as the capacities in the input flow network. So we'll use this middle copy of the graph to illustrate the available capacities along the edges. Now in order to augment the flow in a valid manner, what we're going to do is we're going to try to find a path from S to T in this available capacity graph. So in this graph, we're going to find an ST path, a path from S to T. Let's denote this path by P, cal P. How do we find such a path? Well, we can run BFS or DFS in this graph. Doesn't matter which one. We're not saying anything about which particular path we're looking for. We're just trying to find any path from S to T where every edge has some available capacity. Let's consider this path from S to T in this graph. Now this path happens to be optimal in some sense. It has the one with the maximum available capacity, but that's not important for this example. We're going to look at all edges in this path, and we're going to look at the available capacity of that edge. So we're going to look at the capacity along this edge minus the current flow along this edge. This is the available capacity along this edge. We're going to minimize this. So this is going to be the maximum amount that we can send along this path. So finally, we're going to augment this flow, the current flow, by sending C of P units of flow along this path P. Hence, this flow changes so that we now have 10 units of flow along this path, S to A to B, and B to T. So this is the new flow we're currently at. And now we simply repeat. We redefine this graph of available capacities. We look for a path, S to T. We augment along that path. We update the flow. We re-update this graph and repeat. And we keep going until there's no ST path in this graph. So let's update this graph for this current flow. Notice that the available capacity for these three edges is now 0. So in this graph, there is no path from S to T anymore. So our algorithm is going to stop. There's no way to augment. So we're going to end with this flow, which is clearly suboptimal. This is a flow of size 10, and we saw before there's a flow of size 17 in this graph.